Hello, my name is Andrew Roy. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm going to be discussing conducting business in Russia. Some things I like to talk about before I get into the business part of Russia. Location is located in northeastern Europe and northern Asia. It is the largest country in the world per square mile. So not population-wise, it's just per square mile, the largest land in the world. The capital is Moscow. Some things about Russia. The population's approximately 144 million. The median age is 38. The main religions are Russian Orthodox and Muslim. The main languages there is Russian and Tatar. There are many aspects of foreign business that are necessary to understand before doing business in Russia. In Russia, there are many customs different than those practiced in the United States. One should have knowledge of Russian customs in order to conduct business successfully and have a good impression. Social customs in Russia. Visitors for business should be very careful to follow Russian social customs, gift-giving protocol, dining etiquette, discussing business, business card exchange, greetings, language, dress code are all considerations foreigners should study before conducting business in Russia. Communications. Russian is the official language. When it comes to conversations amongst people, something you should know is that they don't like people talking real loud, they don't like people talking in a turn. They find it very offensive and rude. Many Russians also speak English. It is the lead language in business. Good topics of conversation are peace, current changes taking place in Russia, and the economic situation there. Dress code. Businessmen wear tailored suits. It's a sign of professionalism. Women dress very conservatively. They wear skirts about to their knees. The colors are very muted. It's very conservative. A big thing there is the shoes. They should always be polished. Business etiquette. Foreigners should always be punctual. You shouldn't take offense if the colleagues are not. Usually the colleagues there can be about anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour late. You shouldn't get mad about it. That's just how they are, and they're not going to apologize for it. They don't see anything wrong with that, but you should always be on time. A common business meeting is done at dinner or a place of business. Whenever you are meeting the people, you should learn and memorize the full names of all the people you're in the meetings with. Business card exchange. Business cards are exchanged after the initial introductions. You should have one side of your business card translated in Russian, and you should also include your degrees on there, any higher education. That's something that's very important to have on there. You should always hand your card to the recipient showing the Russian side. It should always be Russian side facing up when you hand it to them. Dining etiquette. You should never refuse food or alcohol without a serious excuse. If you were allergic to the food or you didn't drink, then they would be okay with that, but they consider it rude if you would turn down food or alcohol when it's offered to you. Whenever you come into the private home there, you should always remove your shoes. They will always provide you with slippers when you come in. Another thing is whenever you come to a private home, it's always good to offer to help prepare the food at the table, and it's always good to help clean after the meals. And another thing is you should always bring a small gift. When invited to a Russian's home, always bring an edible gift, like alcohol, fruits, nuts, chocolates, anything like that. And men should bring flowers, not women. For some reason they always just want men to bring them. Methods of greeting. The typical greeting is a very firm handshake, eye contact, and a hello. You should introduce yourself using your surname. And you should find out if they have any titles to their name they would like to be called by that. and always have a business card to give them. When and where to discuss business. A common business meeting is done usually over dinner. And if you're offered an invitation for dinner, you should never refuse it, because you probably won't be asked again. Always be punctual. Don't take offense if they're not. Never turn down alcohol when they offer it to you at a dinner meeting. In Russia, the difference between rich and poor is very distinct. Russia has a high unemployment rate. Russia has a high unemployment rate. How one dresses, speaks, what you eat, and what you do for recreation tells where you are at between the rich and the poor. 40% of Russians are in poverty, and the currency there is ruble. Gender and family life. Russian families are very close. Most families live in an apartment with 2 to 3 generations, so it's mostly the kids, the mother and father, and then the grandparents. Most families are small in Russia. Usually it's about 1 to 2 kids. Mostly it's just 1 kid per family. Most women work and take care of the house. Most women cook, they clean, they take care of the children, and they also work full time. Religion and politics. Christianity is the main religion, which is Russian Orthodox. That being, most people in Russia are not religious. Over half are not religious. Russia is a federal republic. The president is the head of the state, and the prime minister is the head of the government. Career guide. While understanding the fundamentals of Russian society is important, it is also important to have an understanding of the overall business culture when it comes to gaining a career in Russia. In order to understand how business is conducted in Russia, understanding career guidelines will be useful. Networking is a common way to get a job in America. In Russia, it is also the same. When it comes to networking, just getting your name out there and handing your business card out, that's just the best way to conduct business in Russia and get your name out there. Conducting meetings. One thing to keep in mind when conducting business in Russia is that they do not speak English well, so whenever you're in a presentation or a meeting with them, it's always good to get to the point, speak very slow, and keep everything very simple, so it'll help them understand everything. Meetings are usually a mode of exchanging ideas in America, but in Russia, it's usually the higher ranks telling the lower ranks what to do. Successful business. Russian business is not as different from American business as citizens of the U.S. might think. While there are differences, it is not difficult for Americans to conduct business with Russians. With gratitude for Russian culture, American businesses can successfully conduct meetings in Russia.